Hello everyone, I am Simone and welcome to my channel.
Today we will talk about the main differences between Sunni and Shia Muslim. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to like, share and subscribe. About 2 billion people worldwide consider themselves Muslim. It means that about 1/4 of the world population pray towards the holy city of Mecca every day, 5 times a day. Like all the main religions, Islam has grown both geographically and culturally. This extension over the centuries has also led to many disputes within the community, resulting in the formation of different branches. Each of them has distinct identities resulting not only from the theological differences, but also by the cultures that have adopted them. Today, the Islamic world is divided in two main branches, Sunni and Shia. Sunni make up between 80 and 85% of the total. Shia constitute the remaining part, between 20 and 15%. The members of these two branches of Islam have coexisted for hundreds of years, sharing its fundamental principles and practices. Today, all Muslims in the world agree without distinction that Allah is the only God and that Muhammad is his prophet. They observe the fundamentals of Islam and share a holy book, the Quran. However, despite many shared religious and cultural similarities, they differ from each other in many aspects. These include the interpretation of certain aspects of the faith, their view on Islamic history, and the conceptions of the leadership. The original Islamic community founded by Muhammad, called in Arabic Ummah, started to split immediately after his death in 632. This was a consequence of a dispute over the leadership in the Muslim community. In other words, the cause of the split was the designation of the Caliph, the political and religious successor of Muhammad. The community split because the majority of it, who would later become known as Sunni, supported Abu Bakr, because he was believed to be the most capable person to lead the community. Although he was a friend of Muhammad and the father of his wife Aisha, he had no blood relationship with him. Because of that, the other group, later known as Shia, claimed that the legitimate successor had to be identified among the relatives of Muhammad. They supported Ali in their choice. Ali, apart from having been the first man to have accepted Islam, was also the direct successor of Muhammad within his clan. He was, in fact, Muhammad's cousin and son-in-law. Ali's supporters came to be known as Shia, a contracted form from the Arabic expression Shiat Ali, that means Ali's partisans or supporters. The term Sunni, on the other hand, derives from Arabic Ahl Sunnah, which means the people of the traditions, meaning the traditions of Muhammad. The Sunni believe they represent the purest and the most traditionalist school of thought in Islam. Initially, Abu Bakr's supporters won the dispute, allowing him to take the title of Caliph from 632 to his death occurred in 634. The other group, however, did not disappear and continued to advocate the need that the leader of the community had to be found among Muhammad's descendants. After Abu Bakr's death, two more caliphs from the Sunni group led the community. They were Omar and Uthman. Ali eventually managed to be appointed as leader of the community and ruled as the fourth caliph of Islam between 656 and 661. His election as caliph was not accepted by the whole community. This caused a deeper fracture within it, called in Arabic fitna. Ali had to face the revolt by the governor of Syria, Muawiyah, that eventually founded the Sunni Caliphate of Umayyads. The fracture between the two communities consolidated when Hussein, the son of Ali, was killed in 680 in Karbala, the present-day Iraq, by the troops of the ruling Umayyad Caliph, Yazid ibn Muawiyah. Following this event, Sunni rulers continued to monopolize political power in most of the Muslim regions over history, while Shia lived in the shadow of the state. They sought political and religious guidance of their imams, the first 12 of whom descended directly from Ali. The question of the leadership continued to be central in the division between Sunni and Shia. In Sunni Islam, the Caliph is the leader of the entire community. He is the highest political and religious figure, while the imam simply leads the prayer in the mosque. The Sunni community is the one advocating a meritocratic political and spiritual leadership. In fact, for the Sunni, any Muslim, not necessarily a descendant of Muhammad, can aspire to become caliph and lead the entire ummah. In Shia Islam, the role of the imam replaces the one of the caliph. The 12 imams, recognized by the Shia, all belonging to the family of the Prophet Muhammad, are considered infallible by the followers. Most of the Shia groups believe that the 12th and last imam is hidden or concealed. This represents a fundamental belief of Shia. The hidden imam will reappear to fulfill the divine will in the world. The geographical distribution of the two communities is quite fragmented within the Muslim world. The Sunni are the majority in almost all Muslim countries. Shiism, by far the most dominant in Iran, is also the majority in Iraq, Azerbaijan and Bahrain. In Lebanon and Yemen, it constitutes a strong and significant minority. In Egypt, Syria, Turkey, the Gulf, with the exception of Bahrain, Afghanistan, India, Pakistan, ex-Soviet Central Asia, Sub-Saharan Africa, Shiism has much lower percentage, between 5 and 10% of the local Muslim population. The Shia divided further over the centuries. Nowadays, the main Shia groups are three: Imamiyya, Ismaili, and Zaidi. The Imamiyya community is the major Shia group. It is also known as 12er Shiism because it recognizes all 12 imams. About 85% of all Shia, or approximately 150 to 200 million people, belong to this community. For them, each imam was the son of the previous one, except for the third imam, Hussein, who was the brother of Hassan, his predecessor. The Ismailiyya community is more prominent in Central Asia and in the subcontinent. One South Asian Ismaili group, Nizari, is very well known abroad because of the mysterious and ruthless medieval past. Known as the Order of the Assassins, had its base on the mountains of Persia and Syria between the 11th and the 13th century. Today, they are known not for the violence, but for the wealth of the spiritual leader, Aga Khan, who is considered one of the richest men in the world. The Zaidi community is mostly present in Yemen. This group believes that the leadership should be given to a person from Muhammad family who has demonstrated the ability to organize and guide Muslims against usurpers and oppressors. This gave the movement a militant profile that made it quite popular in the first centuries of the Islamic history. As said, the Shia seek their guidance from imams. Their sense of marginalization and oppression gave birth to mourning ceremonies such as Ashura. In Ashura, the believers scourge themselves to remember Hussein's death in Karbala. The main differences between the two communities are: statement of faith. It is called Shahada, and for Sunni is, there is no God but Allah and Muhammad is the messenger of Allah. Shia, given the high regard they have for the figure of Ali, add to the previous form, Ali is the Wali of Allah, which means its representant. Holy cities. All Muslims regard Mecca, Medina and Jerusalem as the holy city of Islam because of their connection to the life of Muhammad and the revelation of divine's message. Shia, apart from the mentioned cities, consider also the Iraqi cities of Kufa, Najaf and Karbala as holy cities. Leadership. Sunni believe in the institution of the caliphate. For them, the political and religious leader is the caliph, chosen among the most capable men. It was a non-hereditary position. For Shia, the leader of the community is the imam. It was a hereditary position as they were appointed by God as the successors of Muhammad. Clergy. The Islamic clergy in both Sunni and Shia is deeply present, but its form is different when compared to its Christian counterpart. In Islam, the clerical figures do not serve as intermediaries between man and God, and do not have sacramental functions. Their role is to transmit the religious knowledge and be consulted on matters related to it. They serve, in fact, as teachers, judges, and community leaders. In Shia, the role of clergy, apart from passing knowledge, is to interpret the word of God. In Shia, there is also the presence of two figures absent in the Sunni group. They are the Ayatollah and the Grand Ayatollah. The word Ayatollah means sign of God, and they are experts in Islamic studies. Among them, the wisest one, highly regarded for the work in Islamic studies and jurisprudence, get the title of Grand Ayatollah. The dress is different between Sunni and Shia clerics. Sunni often wear white clothing and a turban or a skull cap. Shia clerics usually wear black or dark brown robes called abba, with either a white, black, or green turban. A black or green turban is worn by the descendant of the Prophet Muhammad. Places of worship. For Sunni and Shia, the main religious place is the mosque. Followers of one branch can pray in the mosque of the other branch without distinction. Sunni mosques have domes and minarets, but they are generally more austere, avoiding an excess of colors and decoration, which are, on the contrary, much more present in Shia mosques. Similarly, also tombs are often very austere and simple for Sunni, while for Shia, especially the ones of important figures, are very elaborate and well decorated. For Sunni in South Asia, apart from mosques, there is also a type of building called Eidgah, a Persian word which means side of Eid. It is used to celebrate Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha, the main Muslim religious festivals. In Southeast Asia, there is also a building called Surau, which serves the same scope of a mosque, but in a much smaller dimension. The main difference is that mosques are financed by the government, while suraus are financed by local communities. In Shia Islam, other than mosque and Eidgah, there is also a presence of Hussaniyas. Hussaniyas serve as congregation hall for commemoration ceremonies, especially those associated with Muharram, the memory of the killing of Hussein in the Battle of Karbala in 680. In Iran, Hussaniyas are also called Tekiye, in South Asia, Imambara, or Ashur Khana. Fundamentals of their religion. Sunni Islam is based on 5 pillars, valid for the whole community. Shia Islam has different pillars, with minor differences between the main Imamiyya community and the minor groups. In addition to these 5 pillars, there are also 10 practices that Shia Muslims must perform, called ancillaries of faith. They are a set of mandatory actions similar to the Christian 10 Commandments, that also incorporates some of the Sunni pillars. Differences in praying posture. Sunnis have arms folded in various positions, from below navel to the chest, right hand over left hand. Shia keep arms straight by the sides of the body. During prostration, Shia Muslims use a plank of wood or a hard tablet made of clay from Karbala to rest the head. Sunni Muslims touch directly the floor with the head. Marriage. Both Sunni and Shia permits a man to marry maximum 4 wives at the same time. In Shia, there is also the practice of the temporary marriage, absent in Sunnism. It is called nikah muta. It consists in an agreement in advance between groom and bride about the duration of the marriage and the dowry the groom has to pay to the bride. It is condemned by Sunni as a form of legalized prostitution. Major festivals. The main religious festivals of Islam are the same for Sunni and Shia. They are Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. Eid al-Fitr is celebrated to mark the end of Ramadan, the holy month of fasting. Eid al-Adha, known also as Eid Qurban, is the feast of sacrifice. It commemorates the willingness of Abraham to sacrifice his son as an act of obedience to God's command. But before Abraham could sacrifice his son, God provided a goat to sacrifice instead. The sacrifice of the goat is replicated every year by millions of Muslims. In the Islamic calendar, there are other many minor religious festivals. One festival, Ashura, is celebrated by both Sunni and Shia, but for a different commemoration. For Shia, Ashura is the main festival along with Eid al-Fitr and Eid al-Adha. It is a day of mourning which commemorates the martyrdom of the Imam Hussein, killed with his family and supporters at the Battle of Karbala in 680. It is considered to be the defining event in Shia history. For Shia, Ashura celebration is very evocative and emotional, with manifestations of pain that in some cases include self-flagellation. For Sunni, Ashura is a fasting day to remember the day Noah left the ark after the deluge, and the day that Moses was saved from the Egyptians by Allah. The festivals observed only by Shia are linked to the life of Ali and Hussein, and are Eid al-Shuja', also called Eid al-Zahra, that marks the end of the 2 months mourning period after Ashura. Birthday of Ali, birthday of Muhammad al-Mahdi, the last of the 12 Imams accepted by Imamiyya, which is the Eid al-Imam. Eid al-Ghadir, where Shia celebrate the occasion on which Muhammad declared Ali as his successor. Okay people, I hope you enjoyed the video. Don't forget to like, share and subscribe.